Good morning. Welcome to this first workshop of the eFinlit project. And we are going to have here 3 presentations, the first one by me, and I'm going to introduce you to the project, the aims, the objectives, the results and the partnership. Then we will pass to a colleague that has developed one of the modules of this project, and then to an invited speaker that will talk about the need to develop financial literacy competencies. So the presentation, the first presentation, this is the agenda for the first presentation. You can have, you can see it here. So it will have a part 1 with a contextualization, what we mean by financial education, so the aims, the results and the partnership of the project, and then a second part where we will present you in a more detailed way the first results of the project with the state analysis, state-of-the-art and gap analysis. So how this project appears for the first time? In a context that we can describe with an economic turbulence, with a marked shortcoming, the escalating number of low income, and also the increasing number of unemployed young adults, we realize that there is a great need to equip young adults with the tools and skills to manage their income in a way that will sustain their quality of life and financial flexibility at decent levels in the long term. So taking this context into consideration, we decided to propose a project that would deal and would contribute to solve the problem of these young adults. So these young adults is the target of our project. And we are talking about financial literacy, financial education. What we mean by this? Financial education is the process by which individuals improve their understanding of financial products and concepts. Also is the process by which individuals develop the skills and confidence to become more aware of financial risks and opportunities, to make informed choices, to know where to go for help, and to take other effective actions to improve their financial well-being and protection. So as you can see from this definition from OECD, this does not concern only the financially literate people or people that are dealing with finances. This concerns every citizen, every person in society. So we need to know what it is meant by financial products, what is meant by financial concepts, and how we can make better choices even in our personal life and also in our family. So a person that is financially literate is a person who has some basic knowledge of key financial concepts and the ability to apply numeracy skills in financial situations. So this project wants to contribute precisely to develop these kind of skills, in particular in young adults. So, let's see a little bit about the project. The project has a partnership of 8 partners. So Portugal is the coordinator of this project. Then we have two partners from Cyprus, also 1 partner from Italy, another one from Austria, Slovenia, Slovakia, and also Spain. The project started in 2014 and will end in 2016. What are the aims and objectives of this project? General objectives. So first we want to identify and address specific needs of European citizens in financial literacy. Also you want to use the ICT tools and digital literacy to improve these competencies. We want also to develop a partnership model of a wide range of expert organizations in the field of training, online learning and literacies. Also address the challenges of financial management and meet the basic objectives of the European 2020 strategy, such as social cohesion through digital literacy. So we will put together the idea of financial literacy, development of financial literacy skills, and also the digital tools that we have at our disposal. Specific objectives. So we want to develop the basic and transversal skills. Let's say improve the digital, basic math and financial skills of young adults because this will indirectly improve their language and reading skills. Also want to promote the innovative and student-centered pedagogical approaches. This means deploy innovative, student-centered, ICT-based pedagogical approaches such as e-learning, online games, peer-to-peer, educational technologies, tools, and so on. So we will use these kind of tools and approaches to develop the financial literacy skills. Also develop the appropriate assessment and certification methods. And these will be supported both on formatting and summative assessing methods based on ECTS. Also take into consideration the design and implementation assessment of the eFinlit transversal skills as noted above. We want also to provide tangible learning outcomes. So the learning outcomes will immediately become visible in the everyday life of young adults. Validate the non-formal and informal learning, and this will encompass a series of components related to non-formal and informal learning, such as the access to online data, the use of multimedia, forums and social networks, and the improvement of funding approaches for skills development, and because this would potentially be an improved funding approach for skills development. What are our expected results, and then how we are going, what kind of strategy we have developed to attain these results. Our first result, our first aim, was to develop a transnational eFinlit state-of-the-art and gap analysis. What's going on in the countries that comprise this partnership? A second result is an online curriculum composed of 8 modules. You have here the titles or the topics of those modules. So digital literacy, basic math, budgeting, savings, and so on. And later on in this workshop, we will present you one of the modules that is the basic math. Okay? These modules were identified not in this project, but in the previous one that was called Finlico, and you have the link in slides. So in that project, where some of the partners of this project also worked, we identified that these were the main topics that this kind of citizens needed. We will also develop an online platform and mobile application. So we want this online curriculum to be available online, also to be available on any kind of mobile device that we can use. So citizens will not have an excuse to say, we do not have the information, we have not the tools to develop these skills. And at the end, we will also develop an adaptation toolkit, because we want also this kind of courses to be used not only by citizens individually, but also in a classroom, in a training session with trainers and trainees, and so the trainers know how they can use this kind of tools in a classroom. So this was the contextualization and presentation of the eFinlit, and now I'm going to show you the first results of the state-of-the-art and gap analysis. What were the procedures to obtain this data? What was the design of the research? So the methodologies that we adopt consisted in a 4-step exercise, and it was implemented since October 2014 till February 2015. First, we identified the field of research, and we partnership agreed on an operational proposal that included the design of tools and the first set of schedules to complete the research. So there was one partner that proposed an operational plan, and all the partners contributed, gave feedback, and agreed on those operational steps. Then we have, of course, as a result of this step, we issued a final operational proposal that included a survey, interviews, questionnaires, focus group, and country overviews, desk research. So we developed a questionnaire. We had that questionnaire in English, and then each partner decided to translate and adapt the questionnaire to each own country, language, and reality. Okay, so partners translated it into their language if necessary. There was one partner that decided to use it in English, although their language is Greek. That is the Cyprus partner. They prefer to use it in English rather than in Greek. So we implemented the questionnaire in different adult schools. So we tried to disseminate the questionnaire and get as many answers as possible. And then we analyzed the results, and each partner prepared a national report, and at the end a transnational report with the contribution of all partners was also prepared. So this is just a summary of what I've described. So we identified the field of investigation, we had a final operational proposal, we implemented that proposal, we translate and adapt the tools that we developed to gather information, and then we analyze the results achieved. The universe is formed by adults, and we consider adults between 18 and 35, so we wanted young adults, and they come from these countries. The sample that we used a methodology to identify the sample that is called judgment sampling, and because this is a purposive sampling in which each sample does not have a known probability of being selected. So in the countries that are involved, adults have been identified, providing interesting information for the survey according to a freely selection process implemented by the participating organizations. Okay, so this was the way we identified the persons that answered our questionnaire. And the size of sample at European level was 392 valid questionnaires. And this is the distribution of the questionnaires by countries. So you can see that the countries that had the highest number of questionnaires was Spain and Portugal. Okay, so but at the end we ended up with 392 questionnaires. Okay, I know the letters are too small, but just to have, this is the summary of the questions that were in the questionnaire. So we asked some questions about the profile of the respondents, also the problems and contingencies to be addressed regarding financial literacy. I will present that in other slides in a letter size that you can read from there. We also asked about the awareness of importance of training to face their problems, educational strategies and formats, also questions related with the rating of specific features of learning and e-learning courses. And now the results. So the first question, big question, so how do you rate the problems and contingencies related with financial literacy? And we had, of course, the 8 topics or 7 topics that we have identified in Filico project, and we asked them, please rate this between 1 and 5, 5 meaning very, very important, 1 meaning not important at all. So you can see the distribution of the results, but as an average, the most important topics for these young adults are the consumer rights, the budgeting and savings. And it was quite surprising that indebtedness was not one of the highest topics. But this is related, then I talked with the Portuguese Consumer Association, trying to understand why consumer rights is now more important, or they give more importance to that topic rather than indebtedness. And they explained that 5 years ago, indebtedness was really important for everyone because families were experiencing that problem every day. And so 5 years ago, the solution of the Consumer Rights Association was trying to solve the problem of indebtedness. But nowadays, instead of trying to solve the problem, they decide to come earlier and try to prevent the problem. And in order to do that, they are not going to work with the parents, the old parents or older parents, but they want to work with the kids, teenagers and young adults. So they want to educate them to have a better future. And this is now why indebtedness is not the main topic. Okay? But anyway, this distribution is different. For instance, it is interesting to see that in Spain, basic math is something very important. It's the most important topic. And in Portugal, the most important one is also consumer rights and also followed by budgeting and savings. We also asked them if they have attended any training courses in the past. So, are you used to attend training courses? Have you attended training courses? And it is interesting to see that the countries are very different. So the results vary from country to country. So you can see there that in Slovenia they are not used to attend training courses. Also the no is very high for Spain. And to Austria, but in Italy they are used to attend training courses, so they do that in a regular way. So, and then we asked, have you attended training courses regarding financial education in the past? So not training courses in general, but specific topic, and most of them say no. Only Spain, that although that yes, that is very small, that yes means training courses in financial literacy. So it is something very interesting to see. We also ask them their preferred learning formats, because this project wants to develop an online curriculum to make the curriculum available online. So we want to know, are we in the right way? This is the correct way? And okay, I think we are. Although the classroom training is still very high in average, the others are also high numbers. So even in Cyprus, they like the blended learning or even the full online learning, so they have a different profile. And also in Slovenia, the blended learning is also very high. In the other countries is mostly the classroom training. But anyway, this gives us some arguments to go online. And do you use internet? Okay, yes, no problem. Almost all countries, they use internet. It was quite interesting to see Slovenia. I don't know what's happening in Slovenia, but it seems that they do not use internet so often as in the other countries. And do you use or do you have a computer and mobile device? Oh yes, they have, and they use it every day. So it's no problem to go online with this financial literacy course. And the use of smartphone and tablet, do you use it? Or how this is distributed? Yes, they have smartphones, so they can access the online courses wherever they are. And what is the mostly used system? And it is Android. Pity for iOS, but Android won this competition. And are you used to participate in online forums related to financial education? The majority of the respondents said no, we do not participate in online forums related to financial education, except Portugal. Okay, the percentage is not very high, but when we compare with the other countries, we had the highest number of respondents saying that they participate in online forums. And what kind of features of learning and e-learning do you value most when you attend an online course? And you have here what they have said. So what is most important for them, it's that is easy to use, they do not want anything very complicated. They are very concerned with the quality of learning contents, of course. The contents and the quality of contents are really important, so we need to pay attention to that. It is easy to navigate. The texts must be very easy to read. There must be some availability and interaction with the tutor, and also the loading time. What is not so important for them is the mobility devices. They don't care what kind of devices they are using. The learning resources such as blog, forum, library, even the design is not important or not very important, and the fact that there are some facts available. And the least important at all is the certification. They do not need a certification at the end of this course. So again, this is the summary of what I've just said, and you can see the two most important features are easy to use and the quality of learning contents. After that, so after the questionnaire, we also organized some focus groups. So these are the target, so these are the answers from the target, but we also wanted to know what is the feeling of other experts. And so we interviewed experts related with financial education, with education and e-learning and digital literacy, and also other students. So we did 3 focus groups and went deeper in these questions, and we wanted to know the why behind this kind of questions. And at the end, we summed up everything in a matrix table, a SWOT analysis, in order to see what are the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities and threats. And this is what I have here. So this table results from these different ways of gathering data and putting everything together. So as strengths is what we identified, when I say we, the whole partnership. So we say as strengths is there is an increase of citizen awareness about the need to become financially literate. Also for the online approaches, so there is a strength for that. We can go and use online courses because this allows for an increased reach of individuals, lower production costs, and also traditional costs are less expensive than traditional costs, and of course they can be also free of charge. Another strength is the training and information that will be provided using popular channels. For instance, the use of new applications, the QR codes, social networks, and so on. The learning approach is attractive, but also simple and practical. And we can have modular training system with small units that will help learners to keep on track. On the other side, as weaknesses, what have we identified? We have different audience profiles, and this audience has a lack of financial planning and saving habits, which are not incorporated or promoted in early stages of education. Also need to clarify translation issues of training materials when we will develop the outputs. The values and ethics, this was very interesting to see, to feel. So key players oriented in order not to feel responsible for the lack of information to the public. So banks and other financial associations are not concerned if they are not providing enough information for people to make informed decisions. And of course, this is even more important when there is a lack of transparency plus conflict of interests. At least in Portugal, we found that the organizations that are providing this kind of training, believe me or not, are the banks or financial institutions. So one hand, they provide training, or they try to provide, okay, let's say training, but on the other hand, they are selling the product. So this kind of conflict of interest, maybe it is not very ethical. And even when if they say that this kind of training is under their social responsibility, I am not sure if this is not a disguised marketing operation, okay? And the figure or the image of financial education is not present in the project. What are opportunities and threats? Opportunities, the young adult population does not seem to be aware of their need to develop personal financial management skills, so there is a need for that, there is an opportunity for the project. There is also a negative perception from the population about financial institutions, so we can go there and try to change this perception. There is an easy access to internet all over Europe. Young adult people is prompt to digital environments and technologies, so they use technologies, they use smartphones, they use tablets, they use internet, they have computers, so this is not a problem. Young adult population, have easy access to mobile smartphones and computers. There is a global increased awareness about financial sustainability among young adult population, and this is a result of the economic crisis. And online training can be or is a convenient option to fit personal and professional life of the target group and may be adjusted to different audience profiles. And as threats, so we need to take also this into consideration. We cannot deny the global economic and social crisis, the lack of lifelong learning habits. You have seen that they are not used to attend training courses, or they have not attended training courses in the past. Lack of experience and trust in distance learning, so there are still some barriers about distance learning that we need to overcome. We need to explain that, and maybe this is the result of a lack of quality in some of these online courses. Some are very good and some are not so good at all. So we need to overcome this lack of trust, low level of digital literacy, and also some cultural issues. So lack of interest, motivation, habits concerning the search for financial education, strategies and training. Financial companies' aggressive marketing, as I told you, so this is very complicated. And the tendency to contract personal credit on regular basis. What are the next steps? So now we know, we have the picture of what is going on in Europe, and we are already preparing the contents for this online course. Okay? At the end of October, all partners will come with the draft of these modules of this online course, and the next steps will be to produce the online course, to pilot and validate it. So we will have different workshops all over Europe to test the contents, to see if the contents are correct, if the learning approaches, the methodologies are the best ones. We will incorporate the suggested changes, and then at the end we will come out with the online course that will be available in the website of the project. So just to sum up what I have just said, so financial literacy is one of the priority issues in Europe. It is necessary to prepare young adults to face the challenge of a modern society. After struggling with indebtedness, society needs now to look to the young generation and to educate them. So it's better to prepare the young generation and avoid the problems that we had in past. Society has realized now that education is the key, or at least one of the keys, and so we need to equip citizens with the necessary tools to face future challenges, and eFinlit project addresses precisely these challenges by providing for free the so necessary education. The modules will be developed and provided via an online platform to all those that are interested in improving their financial skills. And each contribute is one step ahead towards the increased sense of citizenship. So thank you very much. And now, I will leave the floor for some questions.